This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, and this is my latest Belmont Stakes preview video. Now, last week I recapped the Preakness Stakes, and then I did a very early Belmont Stakes preview. Now, this week, with 2 weeks to go to the Belmont Stakes, right now we're at Saturday, May 28th. The Belmont Stakes will be Saturday, June 11th. So we're 2 weeks away from the Belmont, and right now up to 11 horses are still pointing to the Belmont. And then we had some decent workouts this week for horses preparing for that Belmont Stakes. So I'll go through those in this video. Now, if you're interested in my full card analysis, Belmont Stakes Day from Belmont Park, you will be able to find that annual product at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page. Now, if you just want the Belmont Stakes only and not the full card, I'm selling that product as well. And then also the stakes races for Thursday and Friday for Belmont Stakes Week. I'm going to have a product for those as well. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, just head on over to the runawayhorse.com Belmont Stakes Week and you'll be able to get those products. Now, I had a lot of success in the last 8 Belmont Stakes. I've had 6 winning years out of those 8 years. And in the Preakness Stakes, I just had a nice 5-1 winner. Early voting with the exacta and the trifecta showed a nice flat bet profit on my full card. So we have momentum heading into the Belmont. We've had a lot of success in the Belmont Stakes recently. We'll throw up those right now on the screen to show you some of those winning tickets, some nice exactas, trifectas, and superfectas, especially that superfecta in 2017, where that $2 superfecta came back more than $4,000. So I really crushed the Belmont Stakes that year. I've had a lot of success other years showing a profit. And then last year I had some winning tickets, but it was too chalky. Wasn't really able to make any money there. So some years you have that outcome where the favorites just do well and you can't really make a lot of money. Other years you have crazy results. And then some years you have a nice mix of logical contenders with some long shots. And then those are the years that you can usually make a good amount of money. And let's hope that that's going to be the case this year. Hopefully we at least get 11 horses. It seems like it's going to be a competitive race, and there could be some value to be had if that field size stays intact. Now let's look at some of the recent workouts from Belmont Park for horses working for the Belmont. And on May 27th, we saw Todd Pletcher run his 2 Belmont Stakes hopefuls, or work his 2 Belmont Stakes hopefuls. Mo Donegal, your Wood Memorial winner, and Nest, the Grade 1 Ashland winner, his filly. They worked in company 103.18. Now they weren't going very fast, but that doesn't matter. They're pointing to a race that is 1.5 miles. They don't really need to work fast. We just want to see these horses get into a nice rhythm and then get stronger as the race goes, because in these 1.5 mile races, it's just horses can get into that nice gallop. And if they're at least able to show some positional speed and keep the leaders in their sights, if they have enough stamina, they can win a race like this. It's hard to win it from way back, but horses that are at least sitting within hailing distance of the leaders and they have a lot of stamina, they can certainly win the Belmont Stakes. And that would be the style for Mo Donegal, and then Nest, who likes to stalk the pace as well. Now, they worked in company, 5 furlongs, 103.18. They had their final quarter in 25.15. But the gallop out was what was really good with these two. They just continued to go, and they showed a lot of energy. 6 furlongs, 116.21, 7 furlongs and 128 and change. And then they went out a mile in 141.53. So they were really doing well in this workout. A lot of energy for both of them. If Nest does run in the race, Jose Ortiz, your Preakness winning rider, will be aboard. She's not 100% for the race. Mo Donegal is definitely going. They're still considering, they're going to talk to the owners and make a final decision about Nest. But this workout was solid. I think that if they did run her, she would have a very good chance to win the Belmont Stakes. And if they don't end up here, I would think that they're going to wait for Saratoga and go for the Coaching Club American Oaks and then the Grade 1 Alabama at 10 furlongs. Because Nest has a lot of stamina. And she's one that could probably get that Belmont Stakes distance. But we'll have to see if they go in that direction. We, the people, actually worked the same day at Belmont Park on May 27th. Now, We, the people, won the Peter Pan Stakes, the 1 1/8 local prep for the Belmont Stakes on May 14th, and just dominated that race on a wet track, setting the pace and just running off and winning by more than 10 lengths. And this one could be the pace setter in the Belmont Stakes. Worked a half mile in 48.47 seconds and had a gallop out 5 furlongs, 101.97, and then 6 furlongs in almost 116. So We the People seems to be heading into the race in good order. The pace setter probably, and if he can get out there and just set a nice slow gallop, he could hang in there a long time. Now your upset Kentucky Derby winner, Rich Strike, he's going to breeze on May 30th between race 5 and 6 at Churchill Downs. So if you're watching the simulcast signal, they're probably going to be showing that, so you'll be able to see that workout at Churchill Downs. It looks like it's going to be about 3 p.m. Eastern time that they're going to have that workout. So if you're interested in watching that, watch that Churchill signal. I'm sure they're going to be showing it. The biggest question for Rich Strike isn't going to be the distance of the Belmont Stakes. I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. Now, his sire, Keen Ice, was third in the Belmont Stakes behind American Pharoah, and then he upset American Pharoah in the 1.25 mile Travers Stakes later that year. And the overall pedigree for Rich Strike, I don't think 1.5 miles is going to be the issue. I think the pace, more than anything else, is going to be the issue, because the pace is going to be much slower than what he saw in the Kentucky Derby when they were going 21 and change, 45 and change, and the top 7 horses in that pace collapsed in that race, and the horses from off the pace dominated, including Rich Strike making that nice weaving inside run to upset the field. From that Belmont Stakes, from that far in the Kentucky Derby, for that far outside post. So now that's going to be the question for him. Is he going to be able to get enough pace help in the Belmont? So here are the horses right now pointing to the Belmont Stakes. This will be the 154th running of the Grade 1 $1.5 million Belmont Stakes, and it will be Saturday, June 11th, and they're going to be going 1.5 miles on the main track, these 3-year-olds. Now, right now, it's at up to 11. Barber Road is one that is pointing to the Belmont Stakes. He was 6th in the Kentucky Derby. He's one that was very consistent in Arkansas on the road to the Kentucky Derby, hitting the board in all of those points races there, heading into the Derby, and then he ended up finishing 6th. He wasn't embarrassed in that race. So he's one that if you're playing exotics, he just seems like he shows up and tries hard every time. Now, Creative Minister was 3rd in the Preakness Stakes, very lightly raced for trainer Ken McPeak. They supplemented him to the Preakness for $150,000. He ran a quality race, but he was coming back in 2 weeks, and now he's going to be coming back in 3 more weeks. And all of a sudden, he's got a lot of races in a short time frame. He's one that has a lot of upside. I just don't know if he's developed that much. He maybe needs more time between races to develop more. And then also, horses that run in the Preakness and then run in the Belmont typically have been underperforming recently. It's usually the fresher horses that ran in the Kentucky Derby, skipped the Preakness, ran in the Belmont, or they prepped in the Peter Pan. Those kind of horses are more dangerous typically in the Belmont Stakes. But Creative Minister, solid effort last time. He's got enough positional speed to work out a good trip in the Belmont. Ethereal Road for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. He rallied from off the pace in the Sir Barton at 1 mile and a 16th on the Preakness undercard. Now, the day before the Preakness, Black Eyed Susan Day, and then Preakness Day as well. On the main track, horses that were showing early pressing speed in those main track races were really doing well. But Ethereal Road was one that was able to overcome that trend, and he won easily from off the pace. If he comes back, he's one that seems to have a decent amount of stamina. But if you look at his overall record, I think those 1 mile and a 16th races against lesser company seem to be his wheelhouse. Now, Golden Glider was 2nd in the Peter Pan for trainer Mark Casse, and Mark Casse has won the Belmont Stakes before, and this one likes to rally a bit from off the pace, and he's going to have to run faster than he did in the Peter Pan for sure. Howling Time for trainer Dale Romans. He was one that was okay as a 2-year-old. He was highly regarded heading into this year. He disappointed, and then they dropped him into an optional claiming race at Churchill Downs last time out. He dominated that one. Now they're considering the Belmont Stakes for him, and Joe Talamo is listed as his rider. So quickly, I'll go through the riders too. For Barber Road, Raylu Gutierrez, Creative Minister, Brian Hernandez Jr., Ethereal Road, Luis Saez, Golden Glider, Dylan Davis, and then Joe Talamo for Howling Time. Now, Florin Giroux would ride Kuchar if that one ends up running for Rudolph Brissett, and he also has We the People. For this one, nice win. I think it was 1.25 miles at Churchill Downs against Allowance Company last time out. Not 100% guaranteed they're going to go here, but they're considering this race. This is a step up in class. Mo Donegal, we mentioned him. He won the Wood Memorial. He's run well in multiple stakes races. The Remsen Stakes, he won that one over Zandon, and then Zandon won the the Bluegrass Stakes this year, and he was third in the Kentucky Derby. So Mo Donegal has good company lines. He's got that grinding, closing type style, and he's kind of one pace, and that could work out well in a race like the Belmont Stakes, where he won't have to be miles behind. The pace will be slow. He'll just be galloping behind that pace, and he certainly would have a chance. Now, Nest is another one that has that good grinding tactical style, and she can show like a quick move as well when they need to. So Nest has a lot of stamina. You go back and look at her Demoiselle Stakes. She was parked so wide as a 2-year-old filly, going 1 mile and an eighth. So she ran much further than 1 mile and an eighth that day, and she was just full of energy at the end of that race. And she's been excellent all year. Nothing wrong with finishing second in the Kentucky Oaks. I just think it was a different trip. The difference was the trips were all the difference there, because Secret Oath got that outside trip, even though that one drew the rail. And you could see that for Nest, they wanted to be outside, but they just couldn't get her outside. And she set a decent trip, and she was grinding away, and she finished second. Looks like she should be able to handle a longer distance. Rich Strike, the Kentucky Derby just fell apart and fell into his lap, and he's not going to get that kind of pace help here. But he does seem to have a lot of stamina. Skippylongstocking, fifth in the Preakness, could end up coming back and running in that Belmont Stakes. And if Nest runs, Jose Ortiz would ride probably. Rich Strike has Sonny Leon again. Skippylongstocking would have Junior Alvarado. And then We the People, Flavien Prat will ride We the People. And that one is probably the one to catch in the Belmont Stakes. So that's the 11 horses that are still up to the Belmont Stakes with 2 weeks to go. Hopefully that'll hold. Most of those horses will stay. And even if maybe 1 or 2 of those horses decide not to go, maybe we'll get a couple new faces that will decide to contest that third jewel of the Triple Crown this year. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content. And that will wrap up this look at the Belmont Stakes. We're getting closer. And in Belmont Stakes week, obviously, I'm going to give out my Belmont Stakes video where I'll go through the final field with the post positions and the odds, and then give out my top selection for the Belmont Stakes. So stay tuned to that one. And then another video I'm doing this week, I'm going to start my road to the Breeders' Cup Series. The Win and You're In races start. It's with the Shoemaker Mile from Santa Anita Park. It's the first Win and You're In race for the Breeders' Cup Mile, and I'm going to be covering that in my next video this week. So until then, good luck at the races.